Citizens protecting thieves, HH's explosive statement that's dividing the nation. President Hakainde Hichilema has once again delivered a blunt and emotional message to the nation, one that has sparked heated debate across Zambia. In his latest address, HH said, quote, "I feel extremely bad when citizens protect thieves." His statement has divided opinions. Supporters call it an honest outcry from a frustrated reformer. Critics say it's a veiled attack on political opponents. But what exactly did he mean? Who was he referring to? And why has this comment reignited the national debate about corruption, loyalty, and justice in Zambia? Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash, and I hope you've had a wonderful week so far. Now, today, we're diving into something that has absolutely set Zambia ablaze. The lead story today is one that's left the nation in a state of profound division. Picture this. A president standing before his people, his voice trembling not with anger, but with something far more unsettling, disappointment. Not disappointment in criminals or thieves, but in ordinary citizens. In neighbors. In family members. In the very people who should be guardians of justice. Imagine a head of state declaring that what pains him most is not the act of stealing itself, but the protective shield that everyday Zambians throw around those who rob from their own communities. What happens when a nation's moral compass begins to spin wildly? When the line between right and wrong becomes so blurred that families defend the indefensible? When political loyalty trumps basic human decency? When a Mercedes-Benz in the driveway silences questions about its origins? Are we witnessing the birth of a new normal where corruption isn't just committed, but celebrated? Where donations become laundering ceremonies, and stolen wealth transforms into respectability? Where anti-corruption crusaders become villains, and thieves become heroes? What does it mean when a president must plead with his people to stop protecting those who steal from them? And more chillingly, who exactly are these citizens willing to sacrifice national resources to shield their people? What tribal, political, or family allegiances run so deep that they eclipse the suffering of millions? The question that hangs over Zambia today is this. Has the fight against corruption become a fight against ourselves? Factual foundation, background and timeline. The revelation came to light on Tuesday, December 10, 2025, during what should have been a routine event, the commemoration of International Anti-Corruption Day at the Intercontinental Hotel in Lusaka. The gathering, organized under the theme Uniting Youth Against Corruption, Shaping Tomorrow's Integrity, brought together government officials, international partners, civil society organizations, and youth representatives. President Hakainde Hichilema, commonly known as HH, was the keynote speaker. What began as a standard policy address quickly transformed into something entirely different, a raw, unfiltered expression of frustration that would dominate headlines for days to come. The event was supported by a coalition of powerful entities. The Anti-Corruption Commission, Transparency International Zambia, the European Union, and the governments of the United Kingdom and Sweden, along with the United Nations Development Programme and the Chandler Foundation. This international backing lent additional weight to the proceedings. President Hichilema's statement emerged from years of mounting tensions over his administration's aggressive anti-corruption stance since taking office in 2021. The context is crucial. Zambia had been devastated by corruption scandals during the previous Patriotic Front (PF) administration, which led to unsustainable debt accumulation and the country's ouster from international capital markets. The chronological sequence began with HH's campaign promises of zero tolerance for corruption. After winning the presidency, his administration created the Economic and Financial Crimes Court and launched high-profile prosecutions against former government officials. But with every arrest, with every prosecution, a pattern emerged: segments of the population would cry out about selective justice and targeting our people. This pattern reached a critical mass in recent months. The theft of US-donated medicines led America to cut $50 million in annual medical aid to Zambia. Forensic audits of the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, exposed systematic procurement corruption. Yet instead of universal condemnation, the president observed citizens actively defending those implicated. By December 10, The accumulation of these incidents had brought the president to a breaking point. The Anti-Corruption Day event became the venue for his most candid public statement yet. Direct evidence, quotes and testimony. Let the president's own words paint the picture. Speaking directly to the assembled crowd, his voice carrying the weight of accumulated frustration, President Hichilema made his feelings unmistakably clear. I really feel bad when fellow citizens want to protect those who are stealing from the people. I feel extremely bad inside. I don't show it, but I feel very, very bad. Yet, those relatives of ours can be what they want to be, can have the resources they want if they worked for those resources, they can access those resources. He continued, his rhetoric building with vivid metaphors that would resonate across the nation. How do you feel as a parent? Your son is 28 years old, doesn't work, he just drinks beer. One day he comes home driving a Mercedes-Benz. Daddy, Mummy, I bought a car. As a father you say, you've bought a car, where has the money come from because you don't work, you just sleep and drink? Where has the money come from? The president then turned his attention to the thorny issue of donations from questionable sources. This chairman, Evans Hamandu, last week, in his presentation at Intercontinental, says even donations, when people are donating things, let's check, are they capable, where are they getting that money? Do they run businesses, do they generate income, and do they farm? How is it that they generate money to donate? There's a connection. Otherwise, you'll celebrate donations based on stolen money. But it was his challenge to those crying selective justice that cut deepest. When we fight corruption using the laws now, and the institutions we have set up, you'll hear noises in the community, no, they are only targeting our people. What's the meaning of that? Somebody has stolen, somebody has abused resources that they don't own, they are targeting our people. Who is your people? Daipasha, I'm asking, who are those? He pressed further, connecting the protection of thieves to direct harm against ordinary citizens. You take away public resources meant for meal allowances in colleges, then you start saying, no, they are targeting our people. Who are these your people? It means at a family level, at a community level, we have not reached the agreement that this is wrong and we should not support anyone who is doing this. The president also defended his dual approach to fighting corruption. We've taken a dual approach, and I know it was heavily criticized at the beginning, prosecution's approach, but also asset recovery, based on non-conviction best approaches, which are all legal. I know some of our colleagues in the diplomatic community were saying no, why are you doing this, it is important. He illustrated the problem with the current legal framework. I've always given an example, a guy steals $10 million, he uses $1 or $2 million to buy the best lawyers and goes to court. Sometimes, no conviction, because $2 million is a big legal fee, you get the best lawyers, but if they are convicted, they'll only serve up to 5 years, that's what the law says. And in a moment of unguarded directness about his personal integrity, the president declared, me, in opposition, I used to challenge people who were accusing me of things. I said, take me to court. I remember one lady accused me, may her soul rest in peace, of having stolen a house, and, I said, I don't steal. One thing I don't do, I do many things but I don't steal. Deeper analysis, implications and reactions. The statement has ignited a firestorm of reactions that exposes the deep fault lines running through Zambian society. The implications extend far beyond a presidential speech, they touch on questions of national identity, tribal loyalty, and the very definition of justice. From supporters. In the comments section of the Zambian Observer article, one commenter identified as JMC wrote, if my people are locked up for thieving, so be it. If that selective fight against corruption causes my people to refrain from thieving, I will be the happiest man on earth. People must respect other people's property. This commenter specifically referenced former President Edgar Lungu's infamous statement, Ubamba Mwabala Alya Mwabala, he who works in the field, eats from the field, essentially, permission for public officials to help themselves to state resources. Another supporter named Concerned Citizen echoed the president's frustrations, it's the PF thieves that make noise, the beneficiaries of the heists. It's unfortunate that most of our people in Zambia like stealing, it's the reason they make noise. From critics. The Socialist Party issued a scathing condemnation, accusing the president of failing to tackle systemic corruption within his own government. The party pointed to the scandal involving stolen US-donated medicines and called for a state of national emergency to investigate corruption in ministries and State House itself. The Citizens First Party, led by Harry Kalaba, challenged the sincerity of the anti-corruption campaign, stating that promises of good governance ring hollow when citizens continue to witness selective justice, slow delivery of services, and widening inequality. The broader context. What makes this situation particularly explosive is its intersection with Zambian tribal and political identities. The phrase "targeting our people" that the president referenced reveals how corruption prosecutions have become viewed through ethnic and political lenses. When a Bemba-speaking former official from the PF is arrested, some Bemba communities see it as persecution. When a Tonga official faces charges, Tonga constituencies rally to their defense. This phenomenon raises uncomfortable questions about national unity. Has Zambia's diversity, once celebrated, become a vulnerability that corrupt officials exploit? Are family, tribal, and political bonds stronger than commitment to national development? Legal and systemic questions. The president's call for parliamentary reform of sentencing guidelines highlights another dimension of the problem. Current laws allow judges to impose sentences up to 5 years for major corruption cases. Meaning a person who steals millions might serve only months in prison due to judicial discretion and remission policies. His asset recovery approach, while controversial internationally, reflects frustration with a system where wealthy defendants can afford top-tier legal representation while the stolen money remains beyond reach even after conviction. The international dimension. The United States' decision to cut $50 million in medical aid after discovering that 95% of pharmacies were selling stolen US-donated medicines adds another layer. This isn't just about domestic accountability, it's about Zambia's international reputation and ability to maintain partnerships with donor nations. Unresolved ambiguities. Several questions remain unanswered. Are the prosecutions genuinely merit-based, or is there truth to claims of political targeting? How can a government convince citizens to abandon tribal/political solidarity in favor of accountability? If citizens truly believe their people are being unfairly targeted, how does a democracy function? Can Zambia achieve both justice and national reconciliation, or must one be sacrificed for the other? Thank you so much for watching today's documentary, viewers. This is one of those stories that doesn't have easy answers, doesn't have clean resolutions. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, and it forces us all to look in the mirror and ask difficult questions about ourselves, our loyalties, and our values. I want to hear from you in the comments section below. Do you believe President Hichilema's frustration is justified? Are Zambians truly protecting thieves, or is this administration using anti-corruption as a political weapon? Where do you draw the line between defending your own people and enabling corruption? Have we lost our moral compass as a nation, or are we finally finding it? Share your thoughts, share your experiences, and let's have a real conversation about this. Because if we're honest, this issue isn't unique to Zambia, it's playing out in nations across Africa and beyond. I'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter, more truths that need telling, and more conversations that we must have as a continent. This is Nakash, signing off from InspirAfrica Official. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and never stop asking questions.